And we are back. Where today we're going to talk about gravity roads.
Gravity roads, you say? Aren't all roads a gravity road?
Technically, there is some gravity involved in driving on the road. However, these roads, as you know, mess
I'm
with you.
sorry, I couldn't help it.
I couldn't keep a straight face either. So anyone
I
who's ever
tried.
been, anyone who's familiar with the stories of the children pushing the car over the train tracks most likely has been also familiar with gravity roads and the effect of the optical illusion of the gravity road.
Which is you stop your car, you put it in neutral, and it appears to roll uphill backwards. Sometimes forward, but
Yeah.
always uphill.
Yep.
We always did it backwards because it was scarier.
It's way scarier, especially at night when you're.
Yeah. So one of the stories is there's a intersection where there's a train crossing, and when she's talking about the little kids, there's a urban legend that there was a school bus full of little children in the 40s or 50s, and a train hit it and they died, and now they don't want that to happen to other people, so anytime someone stops on the tracks, they push the car back. And people have said, oh yeah, and we put powder on our car and whatever, and seen little handprints. The only thing is that that particular train crossing, that never happened. It was actually on like Discovery Channel or some nonsense like that, and they said they searched everywhere and couldn't find any record of it ever happening.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean the gravity road that I've experienced didn't even have a train track. So
Mm,
yeah, I was a little disappointed there was no train tracks, even dead
mm,
tracks. But it was outside of Bloomsburg, and it was just it was this weird dirt road kind of alongside of the main road, and it looked like you were going down because of the way the main road curved off to the side and you went down this way. So it looked like the main road was there and this road is going down, but in fact this road is going up along with the main road. So when you stop
mm.
your car and you throw it into neutral, it starts rolling backwards uphill, and next thing you know, you need to slam on the brakes before you end up in the main road.
Yeah, we had back behind the or the is it the state? It is the state capitol building in Salt Lake City. There's this area, we called it Gravity Hill, and there's this small canyon, and there's a windy road that goes around it. And not only did it have a gravity area where you put your car into neutral and you'd roll uphill and then have to put on your brakes because it's a windy road and you don't want to fall off into the abyss, but there was also a lady in white on that road,
Ooh,
allegedly. Never saw her,
isn't it always
but
that way?
yeah, but the story was that it was a bride. Always, it's a bride,
It's always.
and they had been messing around and got lost when they were leaving their wedding party or whatever, because the temple's also near that area, the Mormon temple. Anyway, they drove off the cliff and she died, and so now she's like looking for help for her husband in the, yeah, people say that she's actually asked them for help, said that she had crashed her car and she needed help for her husband who was trapped in the car.
Wow.
Yeah,
So where's his ghost?
that's what they say, but it's always a friend of a friend of a friend that it happened to. It's never somebody that you're directly talking to saying that it happened. It's always a friend of their friend or whatever.
My dad worked with a lady at a real estate office who was driving through Gettysburg, and she came upon two two guys in old uniforms,
Mhm.
and she pulled over and she asked them if they needed a ride, and they got in, and she asked where they were going, and they told her where they were going, and she gave them a ride, and when they got to the destination she turned around and there was nobody in the car.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah, and I was just like, and I told my dad, I'm like, "Are you sure they weren't reenactors and they didn't just like jump out drunkenly?"
Yeah.
Because it could happen. Uh,
Yeah. But she would have heard them. Yeah, you would hear your car doors open
she
and slam shut and
she was an interesting lady.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Enough
I
said.
take the entire story with a grain of salt. Had I not experienced weirdness in Gettysburg myself, I would have been like, "What?" But yeah, they're pretty much out in the middle of the day looking like anybody in uniform, like a reenactor.
Pennsylvania's got a lot of weird.
It does. It's a strange, strange state. I think it's all the granite running through it and the quartz and underwater, like underground springs. I think that's
And those would affect it because of
electromagnetism. Magic.
magical things.
Magic
Actually,
with a
no,
CK.
science.
Yeah.
Um, what are some of the other urban legends in Pennsylvania?
There's Charlie No Face in Pittsburgh, who the legend has it that he would go around killing people at night. In fact, there was a
Didn't
guy
he exist? Yeah.
he did not kill people. He was just trying to mind his own business and get a bit of fresh air. So
Now he was disfigured, but was he born that way or did something happen to him?
yeah, it's
That's up in the air.
yeah. I mean, I
So it was a
probably
guy that just like walked and didn't want to be made fun of.
pretty much,
And then they made up a story about him being a serial killer.
yeah. So
You know
yeah,
what my
it was an
favorite story
accident.
has always been? An accident.
It was a disfiguring accident. Yeah.
Mm. You know, it's always been my favorite is the serial killer that escapes from the insane asylum with the hook for a hand.
Staten Island. Cropsey.
Okay, Cropsy.
Cropsey and
Okay, so
Staten Island.
there's a whole movie about that.
Oh, there's a bunch of movie tropes about it, and then it became real in the 1970s.
It's
Um,
a movie called Cropsy.
oh,
It's like a documentary style film
oh,
where they go back and investigate and find like a child murderer.
yeesh. That's
Yeah, not only did he exist, he killed kids.
eesh.
And we had a guy that existed in Utah again, Emo's grave. So Emo was a prominent guy back in the 1800s ish when Mormons were first settling in the Salt Lake Valley. And he was just like a dude, and he got buried, and his wives got buried with him, and they have a nice like headstone or whatever. But there's a legend now that I have no idea how this happened. Emo was a Satanist, and if you find his grave, oh yeah, hold on. If you find his grave and you start like hanging out and you talk to it, his eyes will glow red, and he'll speak back to you. Nothing to do even with the guy. The guy was a prominent Mormon who was just like, for all intents and purposes, he was just a nice dude.
Minding his own business.
And now he's like this urban legend.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
crazy.
at least people remember him, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
We used to scare the crap out of ourselves trying to find Emo's grave.
and then you found it, and you're like, this isn't so bad.
Yeah, it's like actually kind of pretty.
Oh man, yeah, that's like it just reminded me for some reason of the O'Rourke memorial up on Little Round Top, and
Mm.
it's got like a brass plate with his face in it, and his nose is shiny
Do
because
people touch it for luck?
yeah, people rub his nose for luck, and so his nose is shiny brass, and the rest of it is all like
Brass
oxidized.
that's been exposed to the
Yeah, it's been
elements.
oxidized, except for the nose. They've rubbed it shiny.
It's fascinating to me how urban legends form.
It is.
And some of them have a small grain of truth, and others are just wild suppositions and the stories of children.
And if you're going to Gettysburg, do not let your children climb on the cannons. Those are real cannons. They are very old.
You shouldn't, yeah, like when you go to any kind of monument or whatever, don't let your spawn climb on stuff. That's
Yeah,
just rude and
it's
obnoxious, and they could get hurt.
yeah, and
And
it's
honestly, if they
disrespectful
get hurt,
too. Those markers in Gettysburg are basically grave markers for all the guys
hmm
that died there. So
hmm
don't let them climb on there.
yeah,
You'll
don't
get
do
a
that.
lot of stink eye from other tourists as well, and
Yeah,
probably get one or two belligerent yellings at.
which are deserved, honestly.
They are. I mean, you shouldn't be letting your kids climb on them.
Yeah, and a
Oh,
lot of
admittedly,
places have
I
signs.
did pose with the I did pose with the cannon because I didn't know any better, but I didn't climb on it because it's canon.
Yeah, there's a cannon here. It's not a cannon, it's like a anti-aircraft gun. And AJ always wanted to climb on it when he was little and couldn't understand why I wouldn't let him. It was just
Yeah,
there in the open and nothing was stopping him. There was no fence or anything. And I'm like, because respect and gross. No,
yeah.
you know, besides the fact that you could get tetanus if you cut yourself on it,
Oh
have a
yeah,
little bit of respect. It's a monument to people that died.
yeah. It's basically like climbing on gravestones,
Yeah.
which
And
does.
if you wouldn't want people climbing on yours, don't climb on theirs.
I kind of want to get a gravestone that's actually a chair.
Of course you do.
I want to get like a seat with like urns off to the side, and then maybe a statue of me just sitting there like, how's it going?
You are not vain at all.
No, no,
Not
just
at
the
all.
entire thought of like people posing like on my lap would just amuse me.
You're so weird.
Putting the
I
fun
don't
back
even
in
want I don't
funeral.
even want a grave. Don't put me in the ground. Cremate me and throw my ashes around. Let me get in people's eyes that I don't like. Irritate their noses. No, but honestly, I want to be spread out over the mountains.
Oh my.
So that yes, that's my favorite place.
Yeah, I'll let your kids worry about that because the entire concept of dumping someone's ashes just skeeves me.
It's not that bad. Both of my parents were cremated and
I just always feel like I'd be that person that like goes to throw the ashes and then the wind picks up and just sprays it all right back in my face and then I'm like full of candy dust.
I want to be with you forever.
I want to be I want to be in your lungs,
I want to be
filling
inside you, Susie.
now we're together forever.
Now I'm part of you for real.
So gross.
Yeah, even Trooper doesn't. He's like, no,
No,
can you not? You hear him
I do.
grumbling?
I thought I thought I read somewhere that they've started making ashes into tattoo ink, like mixing it in.
They can mix them. They can crush them down into diamonds. Um, there's lots of different things they're doing with them nowadays. I don't think I would want tattooed with a loved one's ashes, though.
No. A diamond, however, could be kind of cool.
Yeah, wear it like as a pendant or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Like
Mhm.
here, kids, I'm a diamond.
Yeah. Look, it's a true representation of myself.
I'm a cubic zirconia.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny for so many reasons with you.
I know. It's fantastic. I think I finally figured out how I want to be disposed of.
You want to be a zirconia forever?
I do. I think so, yeah. But it's funny because I don't like diamonds in like actuality. I'm not a
I
big
don't either.
yeah.
I don't like because of the way that they've been overpriced and they claim there's not like falsely made to think that there's low supply and the blood diamonds thing and especially the blood diamonds thing. And did I mention the blood diamonds thing?
You did.
Mm,
Yeah, I never liked them. Even before finding out that there's
yeah,
horrible things going on behind the scenes, I just never
I
liked.
like stones with color.
Yeah, like I prefer colorful stones,
Hmm.
but I also
And
don't
ones that
know.
are considered only semi-precious to me are the prettiest.
Yeah, aquamarine all the way.
I got two of those on today,
Nice.
aquamarine
It's my
and
birthstone.
a moonstone and London blue topaz and
Nice.
more blue topaz
You're all
in
about
this little
topaz.
thing. I love topaz. There's a mountain in Utah, like nearby where I lived, where they mine topaz,
That's kind of
and
cool.
you can like walk on it, and you can just walk around there, and you can find topaz just like on the ground.
That's so. We gotta
We'll
go.
have to go there one day.
Yeah, we gotta go
Have to
check.
get you to fly.
Can't we drive?
We can't drive to England, honey.
Oh, England. You said Utah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we can drive to Utah, but you got to get ready to fly to England too next year. It's important to me.
I am aware.
You're like the importance.
I am
Like,
aware.
Matt and I will fly with you and hold
Okay.
your hands.
Okay.
Okay. Because it's important to me for Matt too. Super important.
Okay. I can do
Okay.
this.
You can. We'll get you some Ativan and lots of drinks.
Or just lots of Ativan.
Drinks are, yeah. Wine, I think, is free and beer on overseas flights.
That's so.
Yep.
Only I liked wine more.
Yeah.
I like a nice rosé or a Zinfandel.
See, start thinking about your wine selections, which I got one of those vouchers for $100 off a case of wine. So I was like, well, how much is the case of wine? Like $200? Like, how? It only cost me $39.95 to get a case of wine delivered, 6 bottles of white wine. And then you can join, and like for $40 a month, you can get new wines every month. And I was like, well, I like wine. I don't know if I 6 bottles a month like wine, but
Yeah, like
wine
that's a
makes great
lot of
gifts
wine.
too.
That's a lot of wine.
Makes great gifts too, though.
True. Well, I think we've exhausted our urban legends for now.
We have,
We have.
yeah. But it was good to be back. It's good to sort of, we're getting closer to being back on a real schedule.
Candy's got to set her alarm clock.
It's not that. It's just I have freaking squirrel brain now, and more than ever. It's frustrating, honestly. We never talked about the nursing home. We should do an episode on the home.
Let's do that.
Okay.
That'll be our next one.
Next episode is the home and how that worked out.
Indeed.
Anyway,
So until next time.
yeah, tell us about your urban legends in the comments. Like, subscribe. It's cool to have engagement because it gets us in the algorithm, and we really do want to get on a regular schedule and grow this thing. So,
Indeed.
yeah, hook us up with some engagement. We will love you forever. Bye.